Okie dokie then. So we're back again this week, and that's good. And Emma's with me here, and so is Grant.
Hi!
And we're here to talk about gravity. And no, this isn't a science lecture. I know, terrible joke. But no, the movie that just came out, starring Sandra Bullock and George Clooney, came out last week. We just saw it, and I thought it was pretty damn good. What do you guys think?
I thought it was
loved
pretty
it.
good, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was really fucking good movie. Who wants to start, ladies and gentlemen?
Okay, first off, best way to describe this is imagine if you took the technical aspects of 2001 Space Odyssey and basically forgone the human element.
I think the best
For the
way
most part.
Well, going back to that analogy, I think the best way to think about this movie is think about the guy who got knocked into space by HAL 9000 and think about the movie as all about him. That's pretty much Gravity in a nutshell.
Let's go and describe it.
So, I'm trying to figure out where to start with this one because it's actually a good movie.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm a little flabbergasted where to start talking about it.
How about I do that then?
Fair enough. Go
do
for
it.
it.
The movie opens with a crew of American astronauts fixing the Hubble telescope after it's gotten some damage. Unfortunately, while they're there, trouble a bruise. Don't know why I just said a bruise, I'm tired. But basically, yeah, while they're fixing the Hubble telescope, things don't go well. Basically, debris from a Russian spy satellite that got destroyed, presumably by the Russians themselves, basically flies right at them, killing most of the crew, destroying their ship, and basically sent Sandra Bullock flying with George Clooney kind of chasing after her.
In his space jetpack, which is kind of awesome.
Yeah.
And I think the moral of the story is basically the Russians fuck up everything. I think it's from the Cold War to now.
Yeah.
If something goes wrong, oh, those
Yeah.
darn Russians.
Moral of the story. Give NASA its funding back.
Oh.
There you go. And George Clooney is Jesus, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun twist.
Okay, basically, the first thing to knock out of the way of this movie right off the bat is this movie is fucking gorgeous. It is easily one of the best looking films I've seen all year. And as you know, I've seen just about every movie that came out this year, which can be saying a lot or can be saying not much at all, depending on your preference. But just the weight, it has a weight and a weightlessness to it and a scale to it that is just astounding from beginning to end. Like, it feels like it's space. It sounds like it's space, and the fact that there's very little sound to it at all.
Basically, the only sound that you hear is anything that
Is spoken, or anything that's within the is actually just oxygen to it.
or anything. Yeah, basically anything that makes contact with a suit somehow.
Yeah.
Those are the only times you'll basically be able to hear audio.
Yeah.
Well,
it's like, despite the implausibility of the actual situation that's in the movie, it sounds and it moves and it feels like it should. Like, it feels like it's in space. Like, it's not like Star Wars, we have a bright, big-ass explosion in space for some reason.
Yeah.
But this one's like, it feels like it should. It feels like it's legitimately in space, and that helps with the immersion a lot.
Yeah.
With, especially with Sandra Bullock's character. And George Clooney, although, spoiler, we all kind of know he's kind of there to die.
Yeah.
And he does. A little sooner than I would have liked, frankly. But,
Sadly, having seen the quote-unquote extended trailer, you know what point is going to happen at, in which, once it happens, well, crap.
pretty much. That being said, on the screen anyway, George Clooney is naturally charming and charismatic, so he's a lot of fun in this movie the brief time he's in it.
Yeah, he's always asking her questions, trying to keep her.
Well, it's like
keep
that
her
was it.
fine.
Yeah. I actually want to talk about that. That was pretty interesting. Basically, the way that this was kind of a double-edged sword. On the one hand, while Sandra Bullock's freaking out, George Clooney's constantly talking to her. Either asking her questions, telling him about herself, or telling her about himself. Basically, as a means to try and comfort her, calm her, and it's kind of a good way to one, instill a survival tactic as well as get exposition out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a clever way to maneuver that in there.
Yeah.
I can talk a little about that as well. Is the fact that George Clooney's character and Sandra Bullock's character complement and contradict each other very well.
Yeah.
Like, for example, George Clooney is very much the seasoned veteran. He's been in the space God knows how many times.
He basically like, this is my last walk. Because Miles was saying, I have 1 week till retirement, essentially, at this point.
I was 2 days from retirement.
What happened? He took an early retirement.
Yeah.
Futurama reference. Anyway. Emma doesn't get it. She's like, that's a quote from something.
But that being said, though, I was talking about the whole double-edged sword part.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
On the other hand, you kept her talking, which equals wasting oxygen.
Well, they were kind of fucked either way, so at the same time, it's not like it would have made much difference.
As I said, it was a double-edged sword. It's like, on the one hand, it was keeping her calm, and, you know, her panicking is just going to use up more and more oxygen. They actually had a place, they were set there, so, you know, I would say they're on the way, but like I said, on the other hand, talking doesn't really make too much sense when trying to conserve oxygen, but at this point, it's more or less which is the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, pretty much.
And in this case, yeah, thematically speaking, the talking thing worked better.
It did, especially since the movie's already quiet enough as it is. Like, and already can tell people in the audience are very uncomfortable with quiet moments.
Yeah, that...
Cause that kind of pissed me off. It was like, you really can't handle 5 seconds of quiet.
Yeah, like, I actually appreciate how that sounds just made things just more...
Like, there's not even sound for the first couple minutes of when the movie actually starts.
I wanted to be the one to say that.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the beginning of the movie is basically, it shows you the Earth from the view of space. And there's no sound whatsoever. No sound whatsoever for the first probably minute.
Give or take.
Yeah, like probably about a minute. And it was so fascinating because it's just like, wow, you really get an image of how empty it is.
It's just so gorgeous to look at. Like, the shots of the globe and the space and the stars and like even the lens flares look pretty nice.
Yeah.
And we saw this in 3D, and I never say this, but you have to see this in 3D.
For several reasons. One, like, it does a better job of putting you in the place of the characters, so they do a lot of POV shots.
Which are great, by the way.
Yeah. Like, and secondly, you know, with that depth, it kind of enhances that idea of just, like, vastness and isolation as well. And even, like, the sort of kind of pop stuff out you from the screen, it's used pretty effectively, because, like, the thing is, the second time when, like, debris flying towards the thing, it's like, and it's like, I'm blinking every time. It's like,
Pretty much.
Like, this is how you do a 3D movie, though. It doesn't necessarily throw in your face most of the time. There was a couple moments that were kind of easily reached for the camera kind of thing.
yeah, but when it does, like, it uses it effectively to enhance the experience.
Yeah, like, when it works fantastic, especially during the more, I won't say action-packed, it's more the thriller-type scenes.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm sorry, I just got thriller. Anyway. But for those moments like when the debris comes back, because what happens in the movie is, basically, again, like I said before, the Russians fuck everything up. And now there's, like, debris that's constantly, like, orbiting.
Yeah, every 90 minutes.
Every 90 minutes, like, it's orbiting the Earth at the speed of basically a bullet. So everyone, like, just gonna hail of bullets attacking Sandra Bullock or George Clooney at seemingly random space stations.
Yeah.
Where
That was kind of weird when you think about it. It's like, it always happens right when they get to a space station or a ship.
It's like, has it been 90 minutes? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, sometimes I'm thinking about, wait, how did this hit this stuff but miss it on its way around?
Good question.
You know.
That's the same question of, when will this woman catch a fucking break?
That too.
Because, like, oh my god.
Like, it was Uncharted in space.
Oh my god, you're right. Minus, you know, Nathan Fillion and Nolan North and his endless charisma.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, Nathan Fillion is Nathan Drake, but we'll cross that bridge later when that comes.
He's too old to play Nathan Drake at this point, which is a sad fact, but we're getting off topic here.
Yeah. But, yeah.
So what happens is after they ship and pretty much everything else on it except for George Clooney and Sandra Bullock die, which again was also pretty gruesome imagery.
Yeah.
Even with the little Marvin the Martian figure kind of flying into
that made it even more disturbing. It's like
that was really disturbing. It looked like a demon. Like the dead woman looked like a demon, and I was like, oh! Like I think I made a noise.
I don't think you did. At least I don't remember making.
I made a noise on the inside.
Yeah, it's like you don't really get a clear view of anyone's deaths, except for even the one guy who like actually see get like you're at a distance.
And of course they killed the Indian guy.
Well, we don't. I don't know what ethnicity he was actually.
It didn't sound well Indian.
I can't tell.
Is it important?
It is important. We're gonna talk about racism now. Again, for like the 20th time in this series. We need to take a break around Christmas. Anyway.
But
Anywho.
yeah, that's not important. What's important is the guy went to Harvard.
Oh yeah.
And he danced like an idiot.
And he danced, but in the Macarena or whatever.
Yeah.
They're like, he's in the Macarena.
And like Houston, was he played by that actor who plays like a villain in every role he's in? Like the voice sounded familiar.
We'll look that up later.
Fair enough.
I think it was Ed Harris.
It might have been. Like, it sounded a lot like him.
I remember seeing that name somewhere, and I can't remember where. I want to say, yeah, that was his name.
Because it sounded like him, so that's probably is him. But anyway,
Yeah.
so they fly off to this what was it, Russian space station? Again, the fucking Russians.
Yeah. This one, I think it was. I can't remember if it was a Russian ship or station or what.
I think it was a station because they're talking about escape pods.
Yeah.
So that was more present in a space station than a ship.
Yeah.
So they eventually make their way using George Clooney's magical jetpack to make their way to the space station. When guess what rears its ugly head but the space debris.
Yeah.
And of course, and she goes, and the action scenes in the movie are visually fantastic, and they are incredibly tense little moments. And both, I think all of us were kind of like
Yeah. Like, especially like you've seen the part in the trailer where just like Clooney's about to fly off, and like Bullock's trying to grab the safety cable it has him.
And that is like it uses the point of view, like the POV camera to do that, and it just works so damn well because you get just the perspective of what this looks like, how chaotic it is.
Yeah, like this is an instance where like I was like fearful for the fate of this character.
Yeah.
Like I just literally.
Yeah,
Me, I was like, not George Clooney.
But yes, like I never like. It's almost like I was preemptively just like trying to prepare to either bite my hand or just like do a throw my fist in the air. But it's just, this is a very surprisingly human story, though.
It is.
Like amidst all the it's amidst all the chaos, which even though like in some cases it could have been repetitive, they found a way. Just like it was technically done so well, I didn't care.
I think we all kind of agree that the dialogue got a little hokey towards the end.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that really. But up to that point, it worked pretty well. I thought some of the exposition with the George Clooney, I thought was a little forced, but it made sense because he was, again, as you said before, he's trying to calm her down. There was this kind of conversation. Then next thing you know, they're talking about her dead daughter. It's like, wow, that...
Yeah, that's the thing. I was like...
Yeah, we're like, that's different.
It's like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that would calm someone down.
Because when you say that,
Yes.
ooh.
It's like...
Well then. You like them Knicks?
Yeah, pretty much. It's just like, on the other hand, it did shut her up after the...
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And then he goes, now tell me, do you think I'm handsome?
And she's like,
You're a very beautiful man.
you've got...
Granted, that doesn't come till after, spoiler. The debris hits the Russian ship and they get separated, like the tether they're attached to was a...
No, that isn't what separated them. What happened was, after it hit their ship anyway, they were flying towards the station and Clooney was basically out of fuel.
Yeah, I remember this. Because they one more push towards the space station and they kind of collide with it. Right, because the debris didn't come out until after she was trying to get away.
Yeah.
Now I remember. Yeah. So basically, they get separated, and her leg is attached to like the emergency parachute in the space station, and the other one's held on to the tether for George Clooney's character.
Yeah.
And basically has the "oh, you have to let me go" kind of thing, which again, kind of cliche, but it worked.
Yeah. And honestly, it's like the entire time I was thinking of that one. There's this one scene in Mission to Mars, where it's like it was Tim Robbins and I can't remember who else, but basically it's like one of the guys is starting to float off, and like this girl's like trying to grab him.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, the tether's too short, so she's like, "No, I'll get you the jetpack and fly back." It's like, "No, you gotta let me go. Because if you do that, you're gonna die too."
Yeah, basically,
So,
that's pretty much it verbatim.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
The only difference is that instead of staying connected in this case, it was them like drifting until Clooney eventually snip
goes off. And George Clooney, being the natural professional me, is still talking shit as he's flying away to death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it's like apparently according to this movie, George Clooney is like the best human being in the Earth and space.
And at the same time, I think this is where the other interesting thing is like once again he's doing the talking for comforting factor, but now it seemed more like it was for himself.
True, very true.
Like there's a slight nuance of panic, like that you get to tell he's like trying to deal with. Like,
I mean, it's one of those things. It's a clever way of doing it because, it's like I said, they complement and contradict each other very well. Like George Clooney's marriage, like kind of the wide eye, just admires everything about where he's at, pretty much. And Sandra Bullock's very much focused to the point, kind of thing. And so it's almost kind of refreshing just to have someone who just admires just the pure miracle of where he is, pretty much. Even as he's going off, he's still saying like, "Wow, this is still really gorgeous," pretty much.
yeah.
That's kind of like his last thought before he drifts off, or at least until they lose contact. But either way, and then we kind of miss his charisma. I almost wish they had more time together because I like their chemistry.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But like, honest to God, he's not in the movie that often.
Yeah.
Like it's not. Were we even at the halfway point when he floats into space?
No, it was like the third point.
Yeah. So it's like he's gone for the majority of the movie. He comes back later, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So after that happens, again, at this point, I just felt bad because I was like, dude, someone just give Sandra Bullock a fucking break for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, the poor girl was panicking, like,
So
of course, the entire time. Something would go wrong, like,
It was Uncharted space.
It's like, every moment, she didn't have 1 second where there was something going wrong.
No, it's like...
The only moment she did was like when she first got on the Russian station. By the way,
True.
that I want to say was a very interesting use of imagery.
Yeah.
The idea that I think that was the point of her rebirth.
Either that or they're trying to rip off 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Maybe.
Well, just saying, the imagery of her basically almost curling into a fetal position with like the tether floating, looking almost like an umbilical cord.
Yeah, I thought that was really powerful imagery.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really interesting. And there were people in the audience who were like, what is she doing? And
It's
I
like,
thought
damn
that
it,
was
people,
funny.
there's no film majors in here.
Yeah.
And you
No one
elderly,
gets symbolism.
and you elderly couple who feels the need to say everything that's going on in the movie, shut up! I don't know if you heard them.
No, I
but
did,
they're
but-
behind
Yeah, they're behind me.
As far as I'm concerned, they're whispering. I didn't care.
No, it was like, problem is it's a very quiet movie. Whispering becomes that much more evident. If I was watching Fast and Furious and they were whispering, I don't think it would matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is a movie where like almost a solid half of it is pure silence or just pure ambiance, which I loved about it. Don't get me wrong, but makes whispering that much more evident. When you're going, she's getting out of her spacesuit. No shit, Sherlock. Is someone's phone ringing?
Probably mine, but well, that's a bridge I'll cross when I get there.
Fair enough. Okay, so right, what's up with space station? So, does your phone ever stop ringing?
Yeah, it just stopped.
Okay.
Be professional, damn it.
Have you seen the show? We're not exactly professionals here. We act like dicks every week for 30 minutes. That's what we've done since January. Anyway.
So does Rex Reed, but...
What were you doing?
Well, just saying, Rex Reed does too, but at least he stays on topic.
Have you seen the show? Do you watch any of the episodes? No, you clearly don't.
You're right, I don't.
God damn it. We did Christopher Lloyd impression for 20 minutes like 3 weeks ago. Okay. Stop it! God. Okay, alright. Every time I turn my head, Emma like gives me like bunny ears or something. Alright. Internet. Alright, so where was I talking about? Space station. So as soon as she gets on the board, she has like 5 minutes of peace before like a fire breaks out like the lab or something like that. For why? Reasons. So she eventually has to quickly escape to the space like escape pod and fly off in that pretty much.
Yeah.
And before she can do that though, it's attached to the fucking parachute, which is stuck in the space station, so you can't get away. So it's like, holy crap, somebody cut her a goddamn break for 5 seconds.
I think we probably shouldn't spoil any more of this, because, I mean, as I said, it does get kind of repetitive, so once you're kind of going on a chain of
okay, fair
killing
enough.
the journey.
Fair enough. I do want to talk a little bit about one part that I particularly liked. And again, it's going to spoil. I'm not gonna give away too much necessarily, but I do want to talk about the George Clooney Jesus moment.
Yeah.
Basically, she at this point, for reasons, she's stranded in this escape pod, and there's this brief moment where she's desperately looking for any sign of hope, pretty much. And she comes across this radio station of some Chinese guy. Is it Chinese or what?
I think it's not really said. It's just I think because they're kind of hovering around that general airspace.
Yeah, it makes sense that it would be like Chinese or something. Anyway, that part's not important. The important part, basically, he's the guy with a radio station. He can't help it, and he veers into the way, but it's their only form of human contact for God knows how long.
Yeah.
So
About 3 hours.
3 hours, give or take.
Well.
Well, if you want to be specific about it.
Yeah.
But basically, she can't. She basically uses just as her last link to the human world, the Earth, pretty much.
Yeah.
And basically, it's a complete mental breakdown, which I thought was great acting on Sandra Bullock's part.
Yeah.
Right.
I will admit it. I think I was like on the verge of tearing up.
I was too.
I was just like it was like.
Oops.
Well, fine.
Here
hardly.
am I sitting in a tin can.
It was like too sad for me to cry. It was
I
one of
know
those
it is.
things. Like,
Space Odyssey.
you know?
What was
It
that?
was like too sad for me to cry. It was like I was like this is too like hopeless. Like I can't.
Well, I know you have kind of issues with that. I remember your little emotional breakdown during Prisoners.
Ah! Can't do it.
But either way, no, I was tearing up too. I thought it was a great scene. I thought it was really powerful. And then Jesus George Clooney literally knocks
He's
on
like,
the window,
"Hey,
like right after she
help."
completely gives up and basically tries to commit suicide.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Larry Thompson comes in the door, which shows that the whole explosive decompression is fucking bullshit.
Well, that's because that didn't actually happen.
Oh well. Well, it
Just saying.
shows what I know about these things.
Yeah, just saying. If the fact that she was still like this when George Clooney opens the door, one, that wouldn't happen. Two, the fact that she had to readjust the pressure knobs after he did it.
Either way, basically, George Clooney comes in, gets a bit like, go get him, kid, kind of
Yeah.
speech, and then it turns out he's the ghost of Christmas space. I don't know.
Yeah.
Which inspires her to push off till the very end of the movie, and I'm not going to give away any more than that because I've said too much already.
That's all I got.
But as far as the movie itself goes, I thought it was really good. Like I said, the dialogue gets a little cheesy towards the end, and some of the exposition felt a little forced. But what's there is really good. The visuals are just amazing. I keep
Really?
emphasizing that because it really is it's worth seeing for that alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I really harp on visuals this much. This is easily the most visually stunning movie I've seen all year. Easily.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree.
It doesn't try to blow. It doesn't throw it in your face. It just feels real. It feels like if
Well, it does, but for good reason.
exactly, yeah.
Right.
But everything, it's so goddamn pretty. That's really all I can.
Yeah.
I keep emphasizing that it's like the way everything moves and the way that the Earth looks and the stars. It's so gorgeous. I want to see it again just for that.
Yeah.
And the 3D really helps emphasize that. It's just a damn good movie, and I think it's earned the 97 it has on Rotten Tomato right now.
Yeah.
It just whatever absurdly high scores get. I think it deserves it, and I'm kind of hoping. And this proves me that Sandra Bullock is a good actress. I'm sorry, I fucking hate The Blind Side. A lot of people liked it. I thought it was a piece of shit, a pretentious
I
piece of
thought
shit.
it was good, but
I thought it was a pretentious piece of shit, but that's a topic for another day. But this is movies like, yes, she can act, and it sure as hell beats the crap out of the heat.
So glad I didn't see that
Yes,
POS.
Yeah, apparently a lot of people liked it. I did not. But either way, it's like this is good acting for both Clooney and Sandra Bullock. Of course, the acting is way much more in Sandra Bullock than George Clooney, because George Clooney's doing what George Clooney does, which is be charming, charismatic, and then likable.
Yeah.
yeah.
But overall, I would say this is a movie that's definitely worth checking out. And I'm guessing you both agree with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, as I said, pretty much agreed with you on the dialogue a little bit cheesy, and as I said, it did feel like the moments of destruction did, I wouldn't necessarily say repetitive, but it was so
It was kind of like, oh, come on. Like
coincidental.
Yeah, exactly.
Like every time it's that stage, it's like
how many shitty things can possibly happen in one day?
yeah.
Yeah.
And even then, it's mostly even though it felt mildly repetitive in some areas, it was just all done so well. It was because everything was it was paced perfcly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
That was one good thing about the fact that it's an hour and a half long movie.
It knew when to slow down. It knew when to let you catch your breath. It knew when to let you take in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
But also knew when to pick up the action and knew when to it was basically a perfectly paced movie. in that it knew exactly what beats it wanted to hit and when it wanted to hit it, and it knew how to get a reaction of the audience.
Right.
So for that, and that effect is really it's really spectacular in that way. Again, it just towards the end, it just kind of kept spinning its wheels with the dialogue, and that got really distracting towards the end. Like it kept making references to earlier moments in the movie, which is fine if done but this kind of did it in excess. I felt.
Yeah. It's not that it was done in excess, just the dialogue was kind of cheesy when they
that too,
got it out.
Yeah.
But I felt like you could have done a little more without repeating yourself. But
yeah.
On that note, I think unless you both have something else you want to talk about specifically, we should move on to trailers.
No.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one we got was the Wolf of Wall Street. Is it Wolf or Wolves?
We
I think it's
don't
Wolf of Wall
remember.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Okay.
Then I have an unnecessary S in there, and worst case, I don't know how to spell because Wolves is not spelled like that.
It's P-E-S, you
Wolf
fool!
isn't a word!
So the first one we got is the Wolf of Wall Street, which is a fucking spastic trailer we got for this.
Yeah.
Where it was like, we're like wailing me over the head with it.
Pretty much.
Like, I was like, Leonardo DiCaprio, yellow screen, nah. Like, Matthew McConaughey, nah. And the actress, brah. Whatever the hell this is. That's how the trailer ends. Is
That's all I remember that whole trailer.
Is Matthew McConaughey like doing this? Come on, join us, Grant. Okay. I'm just gonna make a montage at the end of the year of all the strange shit that happened this year.
Please.
All right. But I don't know what to think of it. It's a Martin Scorsese
I say no.
film.
I say.
I know you.
No,
I see the trailer came out. You're like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. It's by default I'm gonna see because it's a Scorsese movie.
I'm not too familiar with Scorsese's works. I don't really know.
Let me see. Oh god, I suck. Taxi Driver, Goodfellas, Gangs of New York, Departed.
God damn it, I have to see
But
this movie.
Exactly.
But Matthew McConaughey.
No, he's actually good now.
Mud was actually
Oh,
pretty,
okay.
Yeah, he was in Mud, so that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I know, but like this one, he just I don't know.
He looks like he's got to do an old Matthew McConaughey shit.
Yeah.
It's like but it's an instance where it's acceptable. But I mean, like lately, it's just like, how'd you go from Fool's Gold to this? Oh, let's not forget Ghosts of Girlfriend's Past.
Oh my god.
Or God, I never watched that.
Fix my head.
Or what's the other one?
And then
How to Lose a Girl in 10 Days. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, was it?
Oh my god. Oh.
And then
yeah,
it's like all of a sudden he's doing like what's it? Killer Joe, Mud.
Let's not forget Rain of Fire.
That's one of his lessers.
I don't know.
Same
I
as
still
Christian
remember. I guess it's one of those things I both pretend never happened.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's now listing off those movies I have to see now. It's like fucking hey, I love those movies. Anyway.
Anywho, next one.
And Leonardo DiCaprio going, "Where's my Oscar? God damn it!"
That too.
Yeah, that was
Next one we got a teaser for Carrie.
Yeah. For some reason,
Which
it's
was
like.
also kind of amusing
like-
in a weird.
No, here's the weird thing. Because
way.
one, they've already released actual trailers, and two, it's weird when the teaser says spring of 2013 in October.
I didn't notice that. It's really funny.
I was like, "What the fuck, spring? It comes out in like 2
Camera
weeks."
12, yeah.
And then we got The Fifth Estate, which is that one that apparently the author of the Maker WikiLeaks is not very happy about.
Julian Assange.
Yeah, I guess he sent a letter to Benedict Cumberbatch this morning, or that's at least when the news report was released this morning. It's like, Benedict, can you disown yourself from this movie? Because it's kind of full of crap, and I guess he responded back yeah, there were some parts of the script even I kind of questioned. So.
And unfortunately, it's too late because this movie's getting crap.
Yeah, it's basically as good as reviews as Jobs did.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a Benedict Cumberbatch fan, so I might have to go see it anyway, for the sake of continuity. But and then we got The Hobbit 2, which was the first trailer, which I thought was weird. What the hell was that?
I don't know. It's supposed to be an excited face.
Well, I look over here and all I see Huey, Dewey, and Louie staring at me.
I wish I'd seen it. I wasn't looking.
And it's like,
See, look, it's a duck face, isn't it? It's a duck face. Okay.
That's not it.
All right, Donald. All right, so yeah, we got The Hobbit 2, which was the first trailer. I thought it was weird because the second trailer was released like a week ago. So I thought that we were playing that because it had some pretty interesting footage in there. And instead we got the same one we've seen like 5,000 times. And that one, Smaug actually talks. Again, player Benedict Cumberbatch. And he sounds fucking awesome. And I thought it would be much better than see this trailer again.
I wonder how he'll sound as the Necromancer.
Probably much more like Sherlock, I'd imagine. But I know, we'll find out around Christmas, I guess. So, yeah, unless anyone else has anything to say, I say move on to final thoughts. Emma?
Didn't we have one more?
No, that was it.
That was it?
Yep, just The Hobbit 2, and that was it.
Oh.
So, the list system works much better than our old crap.
Yeah.
What was the last one?
There we go from Huey, Dewey, and Louie to the Three Stooges. Bunk. Alright.
The look on his face.
Hey, what's the matter? Bunk. You want to see a good movie? You want to have a storybook, maybe? Alright, Emma,
Who
final
are we?
thoughts.
We're the Michael the Comic the Nerd review team.
Michael the
God
Comic
damn.
Nerd. Just get the name right, damn it. You've been with us how long now, Grant?
When's the last time I've said it? Oh, wait, no.
Yeah, I was gonna say you said it a few weeks ago when I sent you out for Riddick.
Good point.
Alright, anyway.
Comment withdrawn.
Mike, this is the Michael, I can't even say it right. Michael the Comic Nerd review team, dicking off like usual. And that's gonna be our intro for next year.
But yeah, let's. I think this video's gone long enough.
Final thoughts. Emma, what do you think?
I think it's a go. I would go to it if I were you.
Definitely. It's one of those things where, like, yeah, it's kind of less about being a like compelling drama than more about being a scary thriller, which it pretty much accomplishes in spades.
I think it has great atmosphere. I think it has good characters. I think it captures the isolation at the smallness and the scale of space perfectly.
Yeah.
It's very well paced. It's very well acted. Even though it gets a little cheesy towards the end, I say it's definitely worth checking out.
I agree.
So I think that's all we have to say without just sticking around more of Three Stooges acts. And we'll be back next week with Captain Phillips and Machete Kills, which I'm assuming Grant's going to be with me on because he's wanted to see that one for months. So
And now I'm starting to regret picking it based on what I've heard, because I'm a tool.
elaborate
Wow.
next week. See you guys all.
All right.